So on to Great Britain's British four. Britain, the dominant force really in men's fours, as we start our introductions over on the far side with the Greek quartet, Papachristos, Silis, Sialis and Christou, silver medalists last year. Very good crew. Next to them, New Zealand. In the bow of the boat, Jade Uru, Tyson Williams, Chris Harris, Sean O'Neill in the stroke seat. Couple of the boys, stroke and bow, they know this boat very well. And there's Andrew Triggs-Hodge turning round to Tom James, Peter Reid and Alex Gregory, the British four. Of course, Alex Gregory and Tom James in the boat last year that took the gold medal. Australia, William Lockwood, furthest away from you in the bow. James Chapman, Drew Ginn, he's the star performer, sitting Drew Ginn in the 3-seat, and then Joshua Dunkley-Smith, their stroke. Germany, well, Germany, they've had mixed fortunes with their fours. Gregor Hauff, Tony Seifert, Urs Käfer, and Sebastian Schmidt. Very good stroke for Germany. And completing the lineup, they've done really well, Belarus. Alexander Kazubowski is the man on the right of your screen. He's the stroke in this boat. And this boat was 9th last year in the B final, and they were silver medalists in the European Championships last year. So they're progressive.
Big guys. Very big guys.
Oh, yeah. And if I had to give 10 points for a starter, it would go to Greece.
It would go to Greece. Yeah, these guys, they know how to start. They know how to start. It's they're very, very good with their high rates. Great Britain, not so much, but they have this power, this incredible amount of power. And there's no doubt in my mind that Andy Triggs-Hodge, just before the start, just turned around and said, "Hey guys, let's just win this. Let's just dominate from the start. Let's just push out and take care of these Australians, because the Australians are the big rivals." The Brits rode a world record, 5:37.82, and the Australians were actually faster than that world record halfway through the race, but they didn't push to the end. So there's a great tussle in the making. As we can tell right now, the Australians leading. There's a great tussle in the making between Australia and GB.
Always has been, Michael. If you think of the 90s, it was the awesome foursome. You know, Tompkins, Ginn, 92, 96, you know, Barcelona, Atlanta. But then Great Britain became the most successful, winning in 2000 in Sydney, 2004, 2008. 7 golds, 2 silvers is the Olympic total of medals in the men's for British crews. In a competition that dates back in the Olympics to 1904, the Games of St. Louis, when, here's a piece of trivia for you, they raced over 3,218 metres, as opposed to today's 2,000.
And they thought about that before they started. It wasn't some sort of a estimate, let's race over 3,318 meters. No, that was deliberate.
So Great Britain, of course, the flagship boat of the British men's division, coached by Jürgen Grobler, who has brought so much methods. He's actually, along with David Tanner, created the system management for the whole team and the platform by which these British crews have excelled now for the best part of 2 decades.
Yeah, and Great Britain slowly moving back on the Australians. The Australians were about a half a boat length in the lead, and these 2 crews have just opened up immediately from the other 4 crews, from Greece, New Zealand, Germany and Belarus. And the crew in lane number 3, Great Britain, is now slowly drawing level with the Australians. Australians rating 37, Drew Ginn there in the number 3 seat, one of the most experienced rowers out there in this field.
Yeah, one of the great achievers. Australia, by the way, who've qualified 13 boats. So there are 14 categories. Only the men's single is where they've missed out. And we're coming to the half distance now. And 3 from the bottom of your picture. It is, at the moment there, Great Britain, who have got the edge with Australia, but it is those 2 crews, actually 3 from the top and 3 from the bottom, Australia and New Zealand, who are vying for supremacy.
Australia and Great Britain, yes indeed. Just an interesting side note, it was 2:53 for the Australians coming through, or for the British coming through at the 1,000-meter mark. I think it was actually the Australians. I don't think that time was correct.
No, Australia got 2:53 as their half-time.
Yeah, it got corrected just now. Yeah. It was Australia leading 2:53. The split for the world record was 2:49, so they're about 4 seconds off the pace right now. Don't expect to see brilliant times, sub 5:37. It's Australia leading, and they look very good. They look very good indeed.
But this, of course, was one of the 6 world best times that was set on Friday by the British for 5:37.86 was the time they set. But this is about winning the race. It's not about a world best time.
No, this is just between Great Britain and Australia, and it surprises me that these two crews have opened up so much, and that the other crews really can't follow. Usually, what you see is there's at least one crew that actually tags along a little bit, or goes off hard and tries to keep up with the Brits and the Australians. But it's just these two crews, and you can see the huge gap back to Greece,
which is why we have a bronze medal.
Which is why you have a bronze medal, but. That brings up the question, should you be happy with a bronze medal if there's a huge gap towards number 1 and 2?
Well, you can only do, and you can only control what you're doing now, but you're seeing now Australia over Great Britain, and this is going to come down to that last 500-meter push there. There you can see the little barometer. Great Britain beginning to try to claw back and to minimize that deficit, so that they're really on terms for that very final sprint. And it's a question whether Andrew Triggs-Hodge or Joshua Dunkley-Smith. You're looking at the Australians now, and they've done solid work up to this point, but can they hold them off there? And there you could see Drew Ginn just calling
the shots, just saying, come on, raise the rate, come on, Josh, push out more. And it's these Australians leading about half a boat length a few seconds ago, and now the Brits are coming. The Brits are pouring on the power, mimicking actually the Olympic final in 2008.
Andrew Triggs-Hodge, and picking it up, Tom James, then Pete Reed with those enormous lungs, coming right in front of our enclosures to the business end, the finish line. Great Britain, whose bow is now ahead, and it's all happened in the last 250 metres, but Great Britain have got the supremacy over Australia by just under half a boat length, with Greece in 3rd place ahead of Belarus. I was going to say that's very good for them to take the scalp of the Germans, and I'm afraid New Zealand in 6th place never really got into this at all.
No, but impressive stuff. That's just raw power. That's just power. That's just Pete Reed just breathing in that 9-liter lungs, just breathing full of oxygen and breathing out and pumping those legs. Andy Triggs-Hodge, one of the strongest guys out there, and Pete Reed, Tom James in number 3 seat, and Alex Gregory, one of the, as we said in Belgrade, one of the most underestimated rowers in Great Britain, but certainly a really, really good one. Impressive stuff by Great Britain.
Impressive that Tom James also have a high regard for him, sitting in the 3 seat just behind Andrew Triggs-Hodge, coming back from injury to regain his place in the boat last year, getting a gold medal, and he is well, they all are contributors, obviously, but I mean, I'm really impressed the way he's come back.
He had a heart injury, actually a heart problem.
Cardiac problem.
So the fact that he's in the top boat says something about the confidence that Jürgen Grobler has for this astonishingly good rower. But I think at the same time they won this race, but they're sure that the Australians will take this into account, rebuild their strategy, and they will be there again next time. So I'm sure that the Brits will know that they need to improve even further in order to get to the Olympic gold.
Well, it's interesting about training, isn't it, Michiel? Because if you're in a race and you get beaten by a lot, you go out the next day and train.
Mm-hmm.
If you're beaten by just a little, you go out and train harder.
Exactly. And that's exactly what these Australians are going to do. Brits right now just arrived at the medal podium, undoubtedly happy. But just as they said after the World